All right, welcome to animation. There are a bunch of ways to get started here. I've got a little activity that can get people going on animation that'll help you out, kind of understanding some of the key concepts. But if you wanted to also, I've linked here in our D2L site the absolute basics. This is an Adobe tutorial thing here. There's 9 of them that you can go through. So you can definitely check that out if you wanted to. That'll get you kind of setting up your own video or movie. Or I think a great idea for animation, even if you're not into animation, if you're into movie making, is animating your credits to your movie. Because when you think of most short movies, at the very end, it's a black screen, the credits come up, people are kind of done watching your movie at that point. But you could really captivate your audience by having an animation happen and the names of who created what popping up during that. Anyways, I'll talk more on that. Let me just, sometimes if you don't say open a new tab, it does that. I'm going to say open a new tab. Oh, you know what? I'm not signed in as myself either. I'm just going to hide this for a second and sign in. You need to be, for a lot of this stuff, you need to be connected to your Google account to access it. There we go. I'm back in. So this is a shape edit 150 frames. I'm going to download this thing. And it is, if you noticed in the corner here, an FLA file. So before I click it to open it, it would automatically open Adobe Animate. But if you're opening Adobe Animate for the first time, there are tons of little tutorials here that'll get you going creating something like this. So imagine you created, I don't know, a movie that somehow incorporated water or the sea. Well, this would be cool for your credit animation. Or maybe you could edit that something different, or if you had some type of pirate movie or something from around the, depending upon what you're doing, right? Some cool, just little motion on the screen while those credits are popping up. And so you would work between Adobe Animate to animate that background and Premiere Pro to get that text on there, even though I'm sure you could do all the text in here as well. Here's a way to do it. Quickly create organic animations using modern rigging. Tutorial right there. Okay, for our project, it's slightly different. That would be in my downloads. I'm just going to click this and show you. If you click that, it will open up that project in Adobe Animate. Now, there's a couple things. This project is pretty big, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that window small. And each one, I'm going to do this. So I got to customize my window a little bit here, because each one of these objects, for example, see that red rectangle, red 1 is selected. If I pick this one, now it's penta red 1, so the pentagon. If I click the circle, I'm sure it would highlight circle red 1, circle red 1. There it is. So each one of these shapes is its own layer here. So we've got lots going on. Normally in an animation, you wouldn't necessarily have this much going on. Now, another thing I want to show you, I got to back up here. For whatever reason, it had me going, starting me at 150. I want to back up here. And I want to show you a few things here. I'm going to go into Properties. Anyway, anyhow, I kind of forget where I find that. I'm going to do a jump here. I'm recording. Doc, there it is. Okay, cutscene. Okay, so if I click on Doc here, it was in Tool. I'm going into Doc. This document up here. Let's call it a document. It's got a couple settings. So it is set for 1080p. So most video that we're going to work with, just because working in 4K might really slow down the computers, although in Comtech we got a bunch of brand new computers last year, so maybe not anymore. But this is set up in 1080p, so it's got the same screen size. Whatever we created here, we should be able to import there and it will fit perfectly with the same aspect ratio. The one thing that's different though, normally when we're recording a video, a movie, or just like a information video, we're either working at one of 3 frames per second, 24, 30, sometimes it's 29 point something, so 24, 30, or 60, and we can go higher too if we're gonna have a lot of slow motion and things like that. We could go to higher frames per second. If we notice in this one is 15 frames per second. Sometimes in animation people cheat a little bit and decrease the frames per second because that way they don't have to have as many pictures. If we look here, here's 0. These are all our frames. So 15 frames, if you see right above 15, I would have to adjust each of these. I don't know how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 24 items here times 15. I don't even know what that is. I would have to adjust that many things in order to get 1 second of video. Now there's a couple ways that we can do this without having to do each individual thing, but that's why the frames per second are a little bit less in this one. Now one thing I'm going to do up here, this, if you notice, it's adjusting my timeline. So I can see, by me pulling that down there, I can see the start and the finish. This is, and I'll move this so people can see that I'm telling the truth here. We're going at 15 frames per second. We've got 150 frames. So if 15 is 1 second, every 15, that's a new second here. This is going to be, in the end, a 10-second video. Now, students have been creating these little things. We're going to think of some type of symbol, and we're going to animate these shapes to morph into the symbol, and then if we're really good at animation, if we like this stuff and want to keep doing it, we can have the symbol move or do something in the middle and then morph back to the original state. Now the idea is, if we have a whole bunch of these from every student, someone can take those and turn it into one big video, morphing into a whole bunch of different things. That's why we want to go back to the original state here. So that's the idea behind this project. Now we got to figure out how we can do that.